Okay, hello. Yay! Welcome to my very first poetry writing stream. This is mostly just an experiment. See, it's the first time. Just learning how things go. So what we're gonna do here is you're just gonna hang out with me and we're gonna chat, and we're gonna practice that too. Oh, I need to go live on Instagram. Hold, please. Go live. There we go. Okay, super. So, I am going live across a couple different channels, so hopefully I can see all of the chat streams and all the comments and all that. Hello, Rebecca Blaine and Uplift Mentoring. Glad you guys are here. I'm doing a poetry live stream, and it is also a tea review. Hey, John. Okay, so we're doing a tea review too. So I'm just going to show you my teas that I'm reviewing tonight. Very excited about it. I went to Urban Tea House on Friday to pick these ladies up. So I've got 3 kinds of rooibos teas here. Rooibos is a South African variety of tea. Okay. So we're learning lessons on this one. Okay, so what I've got here, and now they're all mixed up. So let's see if I can figure out which ones they are by smelling them. I'm going to guess that's the pure. Anyway, we're drinking rooibos teas tonight. We're going to start out reviewing with a pure rooibos. And then we are also going to be writing poetry at the same time. I'm going to be using the process that I use in my poetry journal that is linked in the description of the video. I don't know if it's linked on Instagram, but it's linked somewhere. Let me get this cup. Thank heavens this did not break. These are cute. Look, these cute little clear cups that I got off of Amazon, because that's where you get things. Okay, I think that's Earl Grey. Okay, great. Okay, so I've got 3 teas. I've got 3 teas that I am going to be testing out while I write poetry. I'm just here to hang out and write poetry together. So hopefully I'm going to be able to keep up with comments. I can see Instagram. Let's check out how Facebook's doing. Hello, Facebook. How is Facebook doing? It's always a great question. So I will have a disclaimer. The poetry that I'm working on tonight is from my postpartum season. So it's disclaimer that it'll be gorgeous. One, that I was reading through my writings tonight before I popped in to make sure everything looked right. And it's usually my poetry writing process, which is you can get there's a free download that gives you details about my poetry writing process. It's in the description of this video. Hi, Court. My poetry writing process is in the description of this video, maybe not on Instagram. I don't know. We're just figuring things out tonight. But I typically just do lots of free writes. There's just a bunch of words. And sometimes something really beautiful and unique will pop up. And that's what I highlight and I eventually put into a poem. But these postpartum poems that I'm going to be working through tonight are just poems right out of the box. They're just absolutely stunning. And I cannot wait to share them with you tonight. The disclaimer around that is it is a lot about labor and delivery. There's like breastfeeding imagery. So just be aware that if that's not your vibes, that is what's going to be happening. Okay, so if you're just joining me, we are steeping up right now a pure rooibos tea. We're waiting on that. This rooibos, all rooiboses are a South African tea. Originally, all of rooiboses are naturally decaffeinated. They are full of antioxidants like your normal tea varieties. And to me, I started drinking rooibos teas in college at the Red Cup in Oklahoma City. And to me, rooibos is what the color red would taste like. I don't have synesthesia, but that's kind of the closest I'm ever going to get is how beautifully this tea is flavored. So we've got 3 varieties tonight. We've got a pure rooibos, we've got an Earl Grey rooibos, and then we've got a rooibos chai. And I cannot wait to try them with you. I think the only one that would really be considered as something that I have not tried before or have tried before would be the rooibos chai or the pure rooibos. So I'm really, really excited about that. Okay, I'm getting all my chat streams up right now. I'm checking on YouTube. It's my final one. And we'll see how it's doing. How you doing, YouTube? Okay. All right. Let's figure this out. And then we're going to write some poetry and drink some tea. I hope everybody's having a great Friday. And we're just practicing tonight, you know? Oh, I bet it's, let's see. This here. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Well, that's probably for the best. I am just navigating around my windows right now, which I will eventually share my screen with you so you can see what I'm writing. Boop, boop, ba-doop. I'll be content. Okay. Okay, keep an eye on those comments. Let's okay, I don't see where I can look at my YouTube lives. We'll figure that out next time. Bye, YouTube. Okay, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, here we are. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to drink tea, and then we're going to make magic. Shift 7. Here we go. Shift 7. Technology, you guys. What would we do without it? Doop, doop. Don't know why this isn't working. Troubleshooting. All right, we're just gonna drink some tea. Whatever. Okay, let me show you what this tea looks like. This is the pure rooibos. I'm gonna take this scoop. This is a scoop from Urban Tea House also. I use it all the time. Okay, so I'm betting that most of the rooiboses tonight are gonna look like this. Let's see if I can actually show you. Whoop. So there's kind of orangish, red-ish, long, thin. Okay, dried out, like most teas. All right, I don't have anywhere to put these. Oh, got an extra cup. Okay, pure rooibos coming in hot. Literally coming in hot. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, see that red color? Mostly just can see my screen. Okay. I mostly just talk about wine. Let's see. What does this taste like? It tastes like red. It doesn't have the sharpness of your regular black teas or anything like that. It is um, what they call it on the website would be full bodied. And yeah, it's yummy. Okay, moving on. It's yummy. What else do we need to know? I would like to figure out how. Oh, I see. Present. There we go. Share screen. I figured it out. Okay, super. All right, hooray! We're doing good. All right, so this is we're going to be writing again about some postpartum poetry from my postpartum season with my little girl, Evelyn, called Evie. Okay, so what I do and how I write poetry, I um, I have a poetry writing journal. I did not have a poetry writing journal at the time, so I just used a regular journal. What I do is I just do free writes. So I take whatever's happening in the day or whatever I want to write about, and I just free write without stopping. I do that for several days in a row, and then I go back and I highlight what is interesting or intriguing or what stands out, and then I put it all together, edit them, edit, and then you have a poem. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is going through I've already highlighted things. I'm just going to be typing them up, and then we're going to organize them as poems. I'm going to peace out at 9 because I need sleep. So we'll get as far into this process as we can. Okay, so as I mentioned, what I usually do is take parts of my free writes out. But in this case, in postpartum season, what you find when there's lots of emotions is things flow more easily as poetry because your left brain, which is the brain that part of the brain that has like more language and more of your logical functioning, is having a much harder time processing things than the right side of your brain, and that's where a lot of imagery comes in, color, sight, sounds, and so the right side of the brain. Hi, Ashley. Good to see you, friend. The right side of the brain really takes over. So when I'm sleep deprived, hormones are crashing. I've recently had a baby come out of my body. My left brain isn't doing very much. Hello. My left brain isn't doing very much. It is just tired. So my right brain is really, really active. So what we're going to see in the poems tonight is that they're going to be whole poems in themselves. So I'll have to just go in and edit, but there's not going to be this outtake process that I usually have with poetry. So without further ado, so these are things I've already gone through and read. The takeouts are going to be just like pieces of my free writes that work, but some of these are going to be whole poems, like this one. Okay, I wept these fingers and toes and apricot ears. If I put them on 3 times speed, I could visibly see grow. And there's a piercing pain in my lower back, lumbar. She won't sleep except on me. So I'm wearing my carrier like a top, walking with my toes out, chest forward, walking, constant glow down my quads and up my back. I waddle hunched over. Sit down as much as possible. Okay, so delirious, an infant on your chest in a carrier. Possibly. I'm going to mark this. So there are going to be some things in here that are just like too personal for me to feel comfortable writing about online. And so I'm marking those in my notebook. So I can come back and actually add them to the poem. Possibly dying. Ashley, if you're still here, actually I've been thinking about you a lot. Actually, after I had my first child, Scott, he, my postpartum was really bad, and we had the first people we went out to eat with were Ashley and her husband, Nick, and they have 2 kids that are older than mine. Okay, so the tea is very earthy. I think that was what I was looking for with the rooibos. So if you're just joining in, we're doing a tea reviews while I write live poetry. And we are, tonight we are tasting rooiboses from Urban Tea House in Oklahoma City. This is just a pure rooibos. We've also got a rooibos Earl Grey and a rooibos chai. And yeah, they're just really earthy. Yeah, that was what I was looking for earlier. Earthy. Okay, so back to my story about Ashley. We were at lunch with her and her husband, Nick. And I was carrying Scott on me. And I remember saying to Ashley that, hi, Morgan. I remember saying to Ashley that she's like, he'll be fine. Because I was very concerned that he was going to die. And I said, yeah, he'll be fine. Like, he'll live or he won't. And she goes, let's see, what did you say? What did you say? He'll be fine. Or like, he won't die. Or something like that. And I just always really appreciate that. And I thought about that a lot with Evie. Anyway. Okay. Oh, who won't hold your hand? So we are writing live poetry while we're reviewing tea. These are from my postpartum season. You won't hold your hand because ironically, you're his safe person. And this is how his feelings about his new little sister are manifesting. Simply philosophical. Oh, simply falafel. Yeah, that's where we were. Manifesting by telling you to go back to sleep when you touch him. He could also die, speaking of our conversation, at any moment. And you'll be just as helpless because you're not recovered from labor yet and haven't been cleared to lift anything heavier than a newborn. Man, those are the things you forget. Like, I would not remember that I wasn't able to hold my son for 6 weeks or like pick him up. Oh man, another hard thing about that season too is I was nursing Evie, and I had nursed Scott up until that point, but we had talked about weaning, and he wasn't really taking a lot. But okay, so this is going to be a poem on its own. He hadn't been nursing very much. But whenever he saw Evie nursing, he just started screaming, "My turn, my turn, my turn, my turn." And it was just so heart-wrenching. And we had decided that he wasn't going to nurse anymore, my husband and I. And so it was just this just heart-wrenching. Okay, so a house with windows that are a portal to the trees. A bare-chested mother inside the house looking at the trees, feeling the I don't know what this says. Light through. Okay, let's see. The widow, knowing the fox has pups somewhere. In the cusp of trees. Tornadoes are ordinary. Tornadoes that go through towns are ordinary. So we had a tornado 2 weeks before Evie. Let's say older than the town. Ordinary before I gave birth to Evie. So the tornado came through on Wednesday. By Friday morning, the organization I work for became head of disaster relief for the community. And I'm the strategies director. So I became head of strategy for disaster relief for the city of Shawnee at 34 weeks pregnant. And so we opened the relief center 4 days after the tornado on a Sunday. We would open for about a week and a half. We closed on a Thursday, and then I gave birth to Evie on a Sunday. Chaos. It was absolute chaos. In a tree, as are the mother hawks perched in a tree. So this was something I actually had to do. This scene right here, I had to do the EMDR. Is that what it's called? Therapy. This thing where they go back and forth and you have a traumatic image, and I had to do it over this image of the mama bird. We had a mother bird nest, or a mother hawk nesting, or hawks. I don't know, hawk genders. We had hawks nesting in the trees in front of our house. That made it flying around where her nest used to be. Are ordinary. A hawk that took many squirrels to her babies from the cusp of trees. And so I had to go to therapy over this. I kept having this recurring image of after the storm, a hawk was staring where her nest used to be. She was staring from another tree at where the nest used to be in her tree. And, as a mother, newborn baby, that was a really, really tough image for me. I'm going to get through this poem, because I think it goes a really long time. And we're going to review another tea. I'm very excited. Cusp of trees. Okay, water breaking is ordinary. Pitocin is ordinary. 4 bags. I'm catching them. So I had 4 bags with both deliveries. Catching them quickly is ordinary. 4 bags and catching them 30 hours into labor is ordinary. Babies not crying when they come out is ordinary. Feeling ashamed for being too loud in labor is ordinary. Skin to skin is ordinary. Liking, whoops, here we go. Liking your nurse is ordinary. Feeling like you sat for too long is ordinary. Not sure if you want people to come or stay away is ordinary. Being tired when she cries is ordinary. Being annoyed is ordinary. The adrenaline and feeling like you're not sure why you took off from work is ordinary. The crash and the crash and something wanting to come out from under your weight and never is the word, never wanting to come out from under your weighted blanket is ordinary. So this is not, what is not ordinary is me being able to just write a poem. It happens every once in a while that I can just like have a poem come out of me. But typically it takes at least a week's worth of like just little sketches or snatches of free writes before I can actually assemble a whole poem. This, with being my postpartum season, lots of emotion, lots of fatigue, my right brain being able to have more space with my logical brain being so tired. It makes for a really tough season, but it makes some really beautiful poetry. Your hurting back is ordinary. In fact, your mom recognizes the walk. Okay, super. So with that going, we're going to drink tea number 2. Tea number 2. Let me finish my tea number 1. Ready? Here we go. Okay, that sound is me getting the water piping hot. Tea number 2 is a Rooibos Earl Grey. Honestly, didn't even know this existed. Very pumped about it. So this is a Rooibos that's supposed to taste like Earl Grey, but it doesn't have the caffeine. So if you are a big Earl Grey fan and find yourself in a place where you can't have caffeine anymore, which I do not drink caffeine, it is not good for this little body. But if you find yourself in a place where you can't have caffeine anymore or it's too late in the day, just an FYI, caffeine has a 5-hour half-life. So a half-life is, I don't know, a science thing, but I should bring my husband in here and he can actually tell you about this. Yeah, so I have an Earl Grey Rooibos and a chai Rooibos. So super pumped about that for you, Ashley. Congratulations. Okay, so what's really nice about this one? Oh, caffeine has a 5-hour half-life, which means after you have your initial whatever of caffeine in 5 hours, you still have half a level of that in your body. And then another 5 hours, you have half a level of that in your body. So after 15 hours, your math, is that right? Yeah. After 15 hours, you still have a quarter of the caffeine that you drank 15 hours ago in your system. So it takes a really, really, really long time for caffeine to get out of your system, which if you're an anxious person is definitely a problem. So doing some like switching to an Earl Grey Rooibos at the end of an evening, if you're wanting some tea, that's a great option. So without further ado, let's drink our tea. Yeah, I'm pumped about this because I love how coffee tastes. I love how traditional tea tastes. I just can't have it because it makes me way too anxious. And I actually discovered that in high school. This is the only thing I don't like about these tea steepers is they'd be so cute if they just stood up, and they don't. They won't go over. Also has to do with science. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna set the 5-minute timer to let this steep, and then we'll drink some tea. Okay, we're gonna keep going with our writing. Okay, I like this one. This is also a full poem. Of course, we'll go back and edit these, my editing process. There is not an Instagram. I'm going to have to figure out how this works. But there is a free download on my website, which may also not be up. I'm not really sure. Go to Facebook. There's a link to a free download somewhere. It's bit. Okay, here, let me find it. It's bit. Oh, here, I can do this. Oh, please. Oh, no, none of my emojis came over. We'll figure it out. We're just figuring all the things out. Okay, bit.ly/free poetry process. Is where you can get this process as a free download. Hello, Victoria Devesti. Okay, bit.ly/free poetry process is where you can find how I do my poetry writing. And okay, I'm gonna keep writing. Here we go. Oh, yeah. So usually it's not a coming out full poems, but these are my postpartum poems. And so they're just coming out full poetry. And I'm calling this one And I'm Writing. So if you join me again, you will just see me like pulling parts of my free writes out. There will be some whole poems, but not like this. This is pretty wild. Okay, my back hurts. Evie's sleeping on me. My mom is giving my paid employee instructions, and I'm writing. The sound machine is ocean waves. Our robot vacuum. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we'll go back and edit these, of course. Not tonight because bedtime. Ticking. Ticking like something's caught in its brushes. Where the, oh, cuss word alert. For those who didn't know Zoe cusses, is the guy coming to hang. What is this word? Something, the board. I don't know. Something, the board, because I'm not napping. So I can meet him and I'm writing. Okay, I'm going to skip this one because it's too personal. I'm going to come back to it and add it, but I feel uncomfortable writing about it, talking about it on a live stream. Boop. Okay, 2 more minutes on this tea. Okay, and I'm writing. Bloop, bloop, bloop. My feet in a basket. I don't know what my feet would be in a basket. Bird claws by my side. Her belly touching my recently evacuated belly. And I'm writing about the slated sun through our party trick electric blinds that are not practical. This was Zoe's mad poem, apparently. There's a lot of cursing and anger in this one. That's some of what I missed, was me being really angry at somebody. I'll add it later, you know, for integrity, but we just want to be kind. Okay, practical about sound machines and tornadoes and hawks and delivery nurses. My method is 1 chapter a day, but some days you cheat and eat the whole bar. So that's a comment regarding my writing process while I was postpartum. So I like had my writing stuff on my side, and that was one of the things I tried to do every day to take care of myself was make sure that I was writing. Um, okay, how are we doing on this timer? I'm gonna get started on this one. Waded into motherhood. Okay, she's waded into oh, zoop, 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 zoop. Timer's done. Tea's ready. Here we go. So this one, Rooibos Earl Grey, really great option if you can't have caffeine after a certain time, but you really like the taste of Earl Grey. Or you can't have caffeine at all, like me, but you like, yeah, again, the taste of regular tea. Rooiboses originate in South Africa. And this one is rooibos and bergamot oil, which I wonder if that's what kind of, the only thing I know about bergamot. Ashley, are you still here? You've done essential oils, haven't you? You know these things. If somebody can tell me more about bergamot, that would be great. So all I know is that I rubbed it on my feet for some reason. Sleep at some point? I don't know. Okay, here we go. Still very hot. So yeah, I mean that, yes. Ashley, tell us about bergamot. So what I've always thought that, hello with love though. I've always thought that Earl Grey kind of had a licorice flavor. I've not done any research to know what it is. It's citrus, but can be more calming. It's a citrus. So maybe, yeah, interesting. So not licorice at all. Okay, so this rooibos has bergamot oil and rooibos in it. Rooibos is a South African tea with naturally no caffeine, but still a lot of antioxidants. And I think it has a really earthy flavor. This Earl Grey variety is rooibos and bergamot oil. Bergamot with expert Ashley here, is like a citrusy flavor. I always think the Earl Grey reminds me of licorice. I don't know. Maybe there's like a combo in there. Anyway, we're drinking Earl Grey rooibos, and would definitely recommend it for anyone who likes the flavor of Earl Grey, but does not want the caffeine of the tea. Ta-da! Okay, we are also live stream writing poems. Let's keep going. So these poems are for my postpartum season with my little girl. She's my second child. And my toddler at the time, he's like just a kid now, which is so weird. He stars a lot in these because he was so mad at me when I brought home a baby. Okay, a toddler who won't hold my hand. She pays someone else to make. So we have someone who takes care of our house. She basically does my chores. This is she in this poem is two, my family calls them house fairies ago. But I'm very fortunate to have the resources to have someone come help us with the house. Okay, I already did that. Spinach. Looking for the word spinach. He toddles, says it's loud. She shames herself for going off topic. She knows better than to do the latter. Don't stop writing. Yeah, that's the rule of free writes, is you just have to let them guide you. You can swim and you can't stop writing. Stack, play, give you a hug and a kiss say he's tickling, but really he's slapping, and you're not sure what to do if this is how he's trying to love you well. I keep talking about someone else. Kiss or shake it off. I see her in my mind. She's still ankle deep. This was a writing exercise about walking slowly into a topic, like something like you have a really big topic, as big as the ocean. Like if you're trying to address a trauma or something, but you just like slowly walk into it one thing at a time. So this is me slowly wading into motherhood. Ankle deep. 1, old enough to be on her hip, the other holding her hand. And I know neither are. Try? Why am I writing in third person about my trees? Oh, okay, that was another exercise I did. So this one is not as great. I think, oh, we'll just narrow it down. All right, drink some more tea. Oh, I need to set a timer. Let's see, what time is it? 8:26. I'm gonna give this one 15 minutes. We'll do the last one and then we're gonna go to bed because, you know, it's Friday night and my kids don't know that. They're gonna wake up at the exact same time tomorrow morning, regardless of what time I wake up. What time I go to sleep. I really like this. It does have that Earl Grey flavor, which I didn't know. I like, maybe it's because I can't have them. Oh, I didn't show you what it looks like. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's hard to put like tea up to the camera to show you what it looks like. Okay, moving on. What's my next poem? God, that's so good. All right. The only thing, I'm gonna put a line though, so I know that this is different, but I don't have a, that's not what I meant to do. Boop, boop. Here we go. Line, there it is. Found it. Okay, the only thing not okay about this picture is me. This house is white and shining. The thrift bloom and water bubbles skate. Water bubbles skate. The stream through rocks and moss to the French drain. There is a backup, someone to love my son and teach him to trust. My mom came to stay with us also after I had Evie, so that's what that's about. I found trust to be worth it. I used to think it wasn't, that it made me gullible. I'm a very trusting person, that I'd take your word for a green sky and had a hard time perceiving jokes. Victoria, if you're still on here, I always take Victoria's jokes very seriously. I always wanted to look tough, have competitions, eating warheads. My mouth waters at the thought. Is it harder to carry her around all day or train her to sleep in her cradle? Down the cradle, deny her what she needs emotionally. Will I make neural pathways that tell her she's not worthy of getting what she wants is mom. Uh-oh. Okay, my handwriting's getting really messy. Mom, break from the So what happens to you when your right brain just totally takes over is that your handwriting is completely illegible. Look at that. Nobody can read that. Okay. Mom, break from the A left where there wasn't a place. The something lights left where there wasn't a place. Can you unbelieve we're supposed to be here without feet in the grass? Weird. Okay, let's just put it down and we'll see. This is mom. Break from the shore. A light left where there wasn't a place. Can you unbelieve we're supposed to be here without with our feet in the grass? What does that mean? I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's what editing's for. I'm gonna skip this one because that's too personal. Boop, boop. Marking it. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is cool. This is more what happens normally with my poems is that I've got just like these lines that sound good. But they don't all go together yet. A lot of what I've written today is already a poem in itself, and I'll just edit this, but these are what typically happens when I do free writes and I go through and pull out different parts or the things that sound interesting. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Okay. Bridget had a brain tumor that got her 7 years. Hi, Danielle. Beck was here earlier. I don't think she's here anymore. Beck, you still here? Tell me if you are. Hi, Danielle. Thanks for joining. I'm just writing poetry and reviewing tea. Because, oh, it's not Friday. It's Saturday night. That's what we're doing on Saturday. Okay. And so what happens is I write free writes. Which is writing without stopping for like a period of time. Hello. Dead fire. Which is writing for a period of time or like a specific length to the end of a page or something like that. And then I go through and I take out, after a couple of days, I do several of them and then I go back and take out the things that are kind of interesting. These are all poems. This is all writing from my postpartum period with my daughter Evie. And so what happens here is a lot of these are just straight up poems because my left brain is so tired that my right brain kind of gets full energy and can take over. But some of these are still things to just take out and kind of unique on their own. So that's what I'm doing up here. And all these are standalone poems that I'll go back and edit. Okay, the humidifier and Scott's sound machine. Feel my mouth dry from saltine smell. The spit up coating my almost dry hair. Okay. Feel her soft skin move across my arm as she breathes. Steady breaths of sleep. Unlatched mouth open. I'm gonna sticker that. I'm stickering the things that are a little too vulnerable for me to share online. I'm gonna go back and work on those. It's like me getting water out of my hair. And this is me talking about what me having to write is like, bringing the other until it all falls out in words. Okay, and then I've got another poem. So I'm going to move down here and just make a line. It's the center of my gratitude. I'm stuck in my writing. For the smell of my husband when I pull laundry out of the dryer. For the summer I waded into the lake behind my grandpa's house when the water's pink with sunrise matching the tree whose name I can't remember, it was a mimosa tree. And now I'm sad because that's how far away I am from him now. Eating yellow squash. I cannot eat yellow squash anymore because I ate so much that summer. Watching CSI at 60 because his hearing aids hadn't come in yet. I write, I edit, and I get to see how beautiful it all really is, like getting to glimpse all the nutrients in the ground that grows the still can't think, I mean distracted, of the name of that tree. Funny. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Let's go back up to these outtakes because that's what we're about to hit too. Takeouts, outtakes. Round bedside lamps and leather straps that hang the pine curtain rods and the blackout curtains, especially the yellow one bought from the secondhand shop behind the church, and my ukulele, the growler, and the cuttings of Queen Anne's lace inside them. Okay, cool. How are we doing on time here? 3 minutes till we get a new tea. I'm gonna finish this one. So slurpy. So I'm really excited about the next tea. It's a chai. It's not, I think the word chai means tea in India. So it's all chai. I don't know. Anyway, but we've got a rooibos chai coming up next. So I'm going to finish this rooibos Earl Grey. Tastes like Earl Grey. Highly recommend it if you're an Earl Grey fan but don't want the caffeine. Very good. Slurp. Okay, so let's drink this tea or start this tea. I'm starting my last round of water. Bloop. So I will let that bubble and brew, and I'll write some more poetry. These are haikus that I was practicing with. And I'm just taking out the things that I really like about them. So what tree did this come from? The marriage bed my grandfather bought that he never had. On the other side of this is rain. So I guess some of these technically are outtakes. Almost feel it lick your toes when the sound machine is set to waves. It was the one they bought at Guitar Center. Talking about my husband's guitar. Okay. All right, tea is done boiling. I will pour it, or I'll pour the water. The water is done boiling. I'll pour it into the tea. Ready? Here we go. Whoa. Last one. This is a rooibos chai. I'm really excited about this one. Because I love chai tea lattes. I cannot do the caffeine. So it's been a really sad longing in my soul. Just kidding. That's super dramatic. But when I go to coffee shops, I just, for a second, think maybe I can have a chai tea latte. And I can't because I can't. It's just not a thing I can do. Okay, I'm setting my timer for 5 minutes to let it steep. What I also really like about this tea, the rooibos generally is a South African tea. It is what I do not have synesthesia, but it is what I think the color red tastes like. It's very earthy. That's my reminder to do my next tea review. It's really, really earthy. This specifically is a rooibos chai. So if you really like the flavor of chai tea, this is a great option when you don't want to have caffeine. As I mentioned earlier, caffeine has a 5-hour half-life, which means that every 5 hours you have half of the amount of caffeine in your body as you did 5 hours before. So if you drink a full cup of coffee at 8, 5 hours later, you'll have half a cup of coffee in your system. 5 hours later, you'll have a fourth of a cup of coffee in your system. 5 hours later, you'll have an eighth of the coffee in your system, and on and on. I think that's how math works. I don't really know science, but anyway, caffeine stays in your system a very long time. And I'm a very anxious person. I also really treasure sleep, and all of it messes with me, and it all matters to my system. So we drink decaf tea around here. Zoe drinks decaf tea. Brandon drinks coffee. Brandon's my husband. Most of you are my friends, so I'm sure you all know that. Okay, here we go. The other thing I really like about this, all these teas are from Urban Tea House. It's a tea house in Oklahoma City, very special to me and my husband. We went there a lot when we were dating, and after we got engaged, we went there, and it's just been a really, really special place for us. Brain, go brain. Chai spices after hours without caffeine. The nice thing about this, or like the really beautiful things about this, is I guess all the chai teas at Urban Tea House are made by an Indian family and shipped to them. They're handmade in small batches, which I think is really, really lovely. This specific one, the ingredients are the rooibos. It also has cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, and ginger. So those are going to be what make up a lot of that chai flavor. We've got 3 more minutes until that is done steeping. I'm going to keep writing poetry. Here we go. These are haikus that I'm breaking down. This one actually remained to be a haiku, which is great. Things we need to sleep in air conditioning. This is a haiku about outlets. Because the challenge was to write about things you see, and I was in my bedroom. So the extra things we need to sleep in air conditioning under weighted blankets go here. So this is me being sassy about me needing a million things to sleep, which I don't. One of the best sleeps of my life was after the tornado, all of our electricity was out, And I didn't have sound machines, I didn't have anything, but I also didn't have like lights. Um okay. Instagram has disconnected. Bye, Instagram. Remove. Okay. I'm gonna keep going on Facebook. Here we go. I like this one a lot. I'm gonna move these outtakes up here. I'm a mom of two. So this poem, the exercise was to like take out or like decrease dissonance and just play around with how words go together. I slowly disappear. That one was like really powerful for me in that moment. Okay, 5 minutes. That's our timer for our last tea. Your last chai that I'm very excited about because I love those chai tea lattes I have for a very long time, but I cannot drink them because I have caffeine. And so I'm very pumped to now have a tea that I can use in place. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's really good. It's got the it's got that clovey feel of the chai. That's really yummy. I'm very glad to know that this exists in the world. Huzzah. Very good. Yay! Great job. So, rooibos chai is a really great option if you want that chai tea flavor with the cloves and the cinnamon, the cardamom, but don't want the caffeine later in the day or don't drink caffeine at all. It's a great option from Urban Tea House. So, thank you guys so much. Okay, I'm going to finish up. Let's see how much writing I've got left on these. A lot. There's a lot left. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, it is 8:47. I'd like to stop. Pretty soon, and I'll just do this again next week. That sounds fine. You can do this again next week. I'm a mom of two. I slowly disappear. And then what's a good stopping place? Okay, I'll just stop. I'll just stop on this page and I'll just know it. Okay, let's see. Post-it notes around the house. I think the rest of these are just going to be takeouts. So we're going to boop, 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 go back up here. Post-it notes around the house. But what I need from her is to be a daughter tied in a sling in her chest. She said his hand was in his head, was in his hands. I will not leave him. I think it's probably Scott. He's panicked, pushed away. To be distracted away from me. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause here. Again, we are working on my um, postpartum poems. And um, there's a lot. Apparently, I wrote a lot after I had a baby. Good for me. So grateful. Thank you so much for joining me on this fantastic experiment of doing tea reviews and poetry writing. We reviewed 3 different rooibosses, all from Urban Tea House. There is a link in the description of the video to go find them. Great, great tea shop in Oklahoma City. We reviewed a rooibos, which a pure rooibos, which pure rooibos generally are from South Africa. They have a really earthy flavor, and to me, I do not have synesthesia, but if I could imagine what the color red would taste like, it tastes like rooibos to me. We also reviewed a rooibos Earl Grey and a rooibos chai. They are both really good options if you like those flavors, but don't want the caffeine in later hours or at all, because caffeine can be hard on bodies sometimes, especially in this anxious world that we live in. So, highly recommend those. Super yummy. Very, very glad to have enjoyed them with you tonight. We also wrote lots of good poetry, and I am really, really excited to keep doing that and do some edits for next time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey tonight, and thank you for being you. I will catch you next time. Bye.